Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now guys, the Nigerian state is reaching a tipping point. There's absolutely no question about that. And you know that the Nigerian state is reaching a tipping point by the quality of persons that is coming to speak out about the state of affairs within the Nigerian state now. So now, recently I did a video of Babangida almost outrightly criticizing Buhari, something that he would never do traditionally. But then of course with the hate speech bill, where they want to be killing people for criticizing how they are mismanaging the country, Babangida felt moved to the point that he had to take a public position. So a lot of the people that traditionally will keep quiet because they are part of the status quo are now finding that the state of the country is getting to that point that nobody is really now part of any status quo anymore, and nobody is guaranteed anything unless of course there's a marked improvement and a sea change in direction for that country. So the quality of persons that is now coming to speak out critically about the goings on within the Nigerian space is now getting higher and higher. It's the upper echelons now of society now that are now coming to say that this cannot now go on as it is. So with that guys, I bring you this. Buhari reacts to ex-defense chief's comment of Nigeria being restructured violently. So that's the headline. Buhari reacts to ex-defense chief's comment of Nigeria being restructured violently. So now let's see now what is going on with this particular narrative. The presidency has reacted to a comment of Nigeria being restructured violently, credited to the former Chief of Defense Staff, retired General Alexander Ogomudia. The former Chief of Defense Staff, who delivered the keynote address at the Good Governance Lecture organized by the Catholic Church of Warri's Justice, Development and Peace Commission, JDPC, stated that recent negative developments in the country has led to speculation of the country being overdue for restructuring and in urgent need of a new way of governance. Ogomudia also expressed fear for the future of the country and the present security situation in the country, as he recalled how a former Chief of Defense Staff, Air Chief Marshal Alex Bade, was killed in the streets like an urchin and nothing happened. In a statement released by President Buhari's media aide, Garba Shehu, the president described Ogomudia's comment as a vituperation which speaks volume about the mindset of groups of citizens who have yet to accept democracy as a form of government. So now here is Malam Buhari, of course, a coup plotter, accusing somebody of not accepting democracy as a form of government, but we carry on. The presidency insisted that democracy and not violence is the only known constitutional means of bringing any type of change in the polity. It is very important to stress that we as a nation are a constitutional democracy, and changes to the country in structure, its system, policy and politics must abide by the norms of democracy. Otherwise, they will be extrajudicial and therefore unconstitutional. So now we pause again. Here is Malam Buhari accusing somebody of being extrajudicial and unconstitutional. This is a person, of course, that is detaining countless people outside of our court rulings, ignoring the constitution and claiming that the national security, i.e. his own mind thinking, supersedes the rule of law. This is now a man now referring to something being extrajudicial and unconstitutional. So right there, of course, speaks to the exact narrative that this Ogomudia guy is talking about. Somebody that operates outside of the law is now telling you that something can be unconstitutional. So we either have a constitution that we abide by or we don't. You can't pick and choose elements within the constitution that you do abide by, but that of course seems to be the want of this particular regime, than they pick and choose whichever law to obey. The law that favors them, they abide by. So the law says detain Sowore for 45 days, and they gleefully do that. But then when the law now says release him, they say no, we are above the law. So this is now the same people that are referring to the constitution. But we carry on. This system has subsisted uninterrupted for upwards of 20 years and still going. And the country's law courts, with its armed forces are primed at all times to defend it using all means that are lawful. The biggest challenge to the country today is not necessarily from the perceived regional or state imbalance or conflicts between the government at the center and states, but from the mindsets and entities rooted in the idea of violence as a means to change. Such individuals, groups, and entities peddling ideologies of violence and hate are closed to the notion of healthy dialogue through popular platforms, including elected parliaments, hence only open to violence and destruction as their means. He said, this administration under President Muhammadu Buhari is strongly of the view that democracy that is self-correcting under the laws as we have is the answer to the growing calls for violence and a means to change in the structure, form, and content of the union that binds us as one country. Garba Shehu also denied claims of nothing being done to address the murder of retired Chief Air Marshal Alex Bade, a former Chief of Defense Staff. Equally important is to deny the general's assertion that nothing had been done on the unfortunate gruesome murder of Air Chief Marshal Alex Bade, a former Chief of Defense Staff. Truth is, the investigation instituted by General Olonisake, the current Chief of Defense Staff, has led to the arrest of 14 suspects based on their alleged involvement in a report that has been sent to the police and the Nigerian Air Force for further action, he added. So now this is now these people now trying to bat back this guy for pointing out what really is now a popular opinion. I wouldn't want to call it an uprising because nothing has risen up yet, but certainly a popular opinion. You will recall also that Femi Falana is also speaking in the same tone, that these are all of the elements that led to a change of regime via the army barracks in previous times. So this is now the same narrative now that this former Chief of Defense Staff is now speaking to now. And then of course now you have somebody like Babangida saying that the country is being taken backwards. So all of the voters are circling effectively, and of course now they're now bringing in this bill now to stifle public opinion, so you cannot speak publicly anymore. And I think death penalty is what they are now using to try to intimidate free speech within the Nigerian space. But then of course you cannot, as Abiola would say, you cannot whip a child, you cannot flog a child and then ask him not to cry. You cannot have it both ways. You cannot be kobokoing a child and tell that child not to cry. How is that a possibility? Because that cry is the involuntary action consequent upon the flogging that you are giving the child. So you cannot now flog a child and ask that child not to weep. You cannot run this country as corruptly and as badly as it's been run with what we saw in Kogi State, Osun State, Ekiti State, the sort of brigandage that passes for election within the state. You cannot have all of these structures with people just going to the central bank without recurring to the Senate to make withdrawals from the central bank outside of due process. All of this going on with everything unaccounted for, the country constantly borrowing with nothing to show on the ground for it, the country regressing, poverty capital of the world, and the United Nations has just come out with a report that Nigeria is on the cusp of extreme poverty. So extreme poverty is now the next step from that poverty capital of the world. Now they're telling you that they're taking you to the next level, but this is the next level that is being defined by the United Nations, extreme poverty. So you cannot have all this and then ask people not to speak out against it. You cannot run the country as bad as it's being run and ask people not to speak out against it. Otherwise, you would use death penalty and whatnot. It's better that you kill everybody because you are killing them slowly anyway. Conversations in the comment section, the country has reached a tipping point, is effectively what a lot of voices that would hitherto have kept quiet are now saying now in the public space. So now what says you? But before you come share thoughts in the comment section, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. Bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Then come tell me what you are making of this crossroad now that the Nigerian state is on or in the comment section. So I'll leave you here. carry on with you in the comment section, but here I say peace.